In this video, we're gonna continue to model our character in Blender. So we're gonna continue with digital sculpting. So what we saw in the previous lesson are different techniques to get the block out of our model or the draft. So right now we are starting to add some details for the muscles, the bones, and the body, a little bit on the face, depending on the level of subdivision or the level of detail. So we need to go again from the draft, little by little. We're gonna build our character, adding more and more details. We're gonna start with the bigger details, and then we're gonna get into the finer details. So this is the process that we are following from the first lesson. So this is the model that we got so far. And we saw different techniques to block out the model, but also to model the overall shape. Now, we don't need the reference anymore. We started with the reference, but right now we just want to feel a little bit free to change the topology and overall look of our character. So it is just a process that, again, it's not a straight line, but it's a back and forth process. You don't be afraid to experiment. Don't worry if you disrupt your base model, you can always go back. We saw how we can increase the level of undos. We saw also how we can manage our different models. So essentially, we can create copies. So what I can do here, this is the model so far. I can right click, duplicate the collection. So I have a brand new character here, and I can hide the previous one, and I can work only on this one. And also I'm gonna hide them from the render. And as I said, we don't need reference anymore. We are now on a different stage. In this stage, we just need the base mesh, and we can work on that using, again, first of all, the yellow tools or yellow brushes. These are for the more generic shape. And then we're gonna proceed also with the standard brush here, or the draw tool, the draw sharp, the clay strips, the level, the layer, and so on. These are like more for sculpting medium details and also fine details, but they're excellent to add muscles and bones. And we already started to do that a little bit on the previous video using the draw and setting up some preference here, some options. Now, be careful with auto smooth, because auto smooth is like an automatic smooth process. So remember, the smooth also is really important. It's this one right here. But if you use the auto smooth, it's going to do it automatically. But be careful, because if it's too strong, it's going to remove too much material. It's going to remove too many details. So be sure that that's not too high, unless you want a really high smooth. And also, we talk about accumulate from face only, additional settings that are really helpful, and the lazy mouse option that is gonna help you to go really, really slow, nice and slow on your model. Now, be careful here, because we are not actually sculpting on this model right now. We need to select it. We need to go in the sculpt mode, and we need to have the sculpt icon here. So, okay, right now I am actually sculpting. So definitely gonna decrease the strength here too much. So you can continue to build up your model using the standard brush with the lazy mouse, little by little. Check the auto smooth, check the other option, check accumulate. But in this video, we're gonna continue with other examples. You're gonna see different techniques and brushes later, but first of all, let's start to see a little bit the topology or the structure of our model. So if I click here and go to wireframe, I can sculpt, and at the same time, I can check what's happening at a topological level. You can see here the smooth is pretty strong right now. So it's pushing a little bit the polygons instead of adding material with the draw. Now, at this level of subdivision, we can actually add a lot of little details. So we can, let's see, for example, with the draw sharp, I can start a little bit with the draw sharp, which is essentially a stronger draw sharp. If you want to do something stronger here, for example, on the pectoral, we can start to like subdivide a little bit the muscle zones, and we're gonna make them more visible. And you can see now I am constantly smoothing. So smooth is really important. Remember to use that shift, and it's going to be like a constant part of your work. Okay, so because sometimes you make mistakes, you can smooth them out. And you can see how with this one here also I'm defining the muscles. Also control, this goes the other way, so it's gonna like add material. So it's pretty similar to the standard brush, just a little bit more accurate, a little bit more well, you can add really fine details right here. We can start to see some eye socket at this level. You can start to add a little bit on nose, the mouth. So again, we are continuing with really big details right now. We are not going into really fine details, but you can, try to define where the bones are, where the cavity will be, and then just smooth. Don't worry about this. In this moment, we're just, playing around. We're gonna get to these details later on, so don't worry. This is just to show you that we have a lot of detail already. So it's important to understand, once you move from like a draft situation into something more detailed, that you need to manage the level of subdivision. You need to understand on which level you are on and decide if you want to add or subtract subdivision. And we can do that with the 3 different ways. Now, the first one is dyne topo, which we are right now. So if we just decrease using the detail flat fill, now you can see this is resolution 8, so it's a kind of middle situation. So if I just decrease the resolution, let's say to 4, so you can see we are decreasing the number of polygons. This makes it easier if I am again on the general shape, if I'm not in the detailing. So that's excellent. Now, one thing that it's pretty obvious when you work with the dyne topo is that it uses triangles, which are not like so used when you need to do like general shape. This is more when you have a lot of details and you want to go into really fine details. So you can use dyne topo. We can use also a lower resolution if we want. So we can start again from a low poly situation here, where again we're gonna define the overall shape. So again, don't worry to go back and forward. I guarantee you're gonna improve every time you're gonna go back and forward, especially on the topology. And this one here, auto masking, it's good because it's not gonna affect nearby objects. We don't need the hands at the moment at this level. So this could be like a first level of subdivision when we can do like macroscopic changing to our character. And then we slowly increase the resolution. So we can go from 2 to 4 and then 8, which is kind of a middle way. And then when we want to have like a really high poly situation, we can like go to 16. And I'm using constant detail here. I've explained everything in the previous videos, so you should know by now. And you can see this strange blocky effect, which could be good, but if I want to get rid of that, just smooth around and that's gonna go. So this is twice the level of subdivision that we have at the beginning of the video. And let's use again the draw sharp, and let's decrease the radius here. So you can see with this I can start to make something like smaller, which again could be the eye, could be like some wrinkles already, some really large wrinkles or scars. We can do like the nose, we can do nostrils, and I find more comfortable using this the opposite way, so on the plus. Okay, but still we are too big for those details. So this is just um, examples you can see. Now, if I am enough small, I can start to do also some veins. Well, you can already do like some big veins